Today we shall learn about listing of shares on the stock exchange. So let's see what listing is all about, right? Listing simply means providing of two-way quotes for a security by the stock exchange. When we have two-way quotes, that's buy and sell prices available on the stock exchange, this is what can give rise or promote trading activity. That's we can easily trade in securities that is listed on the stock exchange, right? In another sense, we can say that when securities of a company are added in the list of securities that are allowed to be traded on the stock exchange, then those securities are said to be listed. Without listing, securities cannot be bought or sold in this stock exchange, right? Because listing is a condition or a passport to publicly held securities or shares of a company that allows them to trade on the stock exchange. Therefore, listing allows securities to become liquid or tradable in the market. Also, listing is mandatory requirement for a company because of because the Companies Act says that whenever securities are offered to public for subscription through issue of prospects, then they are necessarily required to be listed on the stock exchange. Now, a question may have emerged in our minds, and that's why there should be listing, right? The answer to this query is that because of listing, buying and selling of securities of a company becomes easier. Now, suppose if you are a shareholder of a private company and if you want to sell shares of that company, then you have to personally look forward for a person who is willing to buy those shares. But if those shares are of a listed company, then this job is very simple. You ask a broker and he will sell your securities in the market within minutes, right? Now, who is buying and who is selling, that's not important. Okay? The broker is going to take an action on your request or order. When shares are listed on the stock exchange, the orders placed by the brokers on behalf of their clients are continuously received and accepted by the stock exchange. But these orders are received when trading is open, that means during the trading hours in the day. By this mechanism of trading on the stock exchange, a lot of liquidity is created, which helps people to buy and sell shares without much wait and any difficulty. Now let's ask ourselves a question, and that question is, can every company that goes public get listed on the stock exchange? The answer is obviously no. Then which companies are eligible to get entry for trading on the stock exchange? A company is eligible to apply for listing provided it satisfies either of the conditions that you can read on the screen now, right? For example, a company can be allowed to list on the stock exchange if it offers 10% of its securities out of the total offer, subject to a minimum of 20 lakh shares to the public. Further, size of the net offer to the public should not be less than 100 crores and issue is made through book building route, right? If fulfilling all these conditions, all these four conditions is not possible for a company, then it should satisfy the alternate condition, and that is it should have offered at least 25% of the securities out of the total offer to the public, or out of the total offer to the public, right? Therefore, these are the two conditions, either of which a company should have met before applying for listing to a stock exchange. Now, another question may be asked, and that is, can a company be allowed to list on more than one stock exchange? This is what is called dual listing or multiple listings, right? With multiple listings, the listed company's shares would, of course, get more liquidity. To the question of dual listing, the answer is yes. That means a company can be allowed to list on more than one stock exchange, but there are certain conditions that need to be fulfilled. Soon we shall see what are those conditions, right? These conditions would be applicable irrespective of whether it is a company's first or subsequent listing. What are those conditions that a company is to comply in order to continue to have its shares listed on the stock exchange uninterruptedly, right? First of all, it has to pay first time registration fee before getting listed, and thereafter until it wants to have listing available. Every year till then it has to pay stock exchange annual fee, right? Failure to do so can lead to delisting of shares from the stock exchange. The second requirement is that a listed company has to keep the stock exchange abreast or informed about various matters that happen in the course of business. In particular, the company that intends to list is required to make disclosures in the form of audited statement of projected and actual utilization of funds and projected profitability. These disclosures ought to be made at the time of applying for listing. Thereafter, once the company gets listed, it will continue to make regularly various vital disclosures to the stock exchange. These disclosures may include periodic financial statements like balance sheet and income statements, etc., so on and so forth. Now, you may be curious to know what is the purpose of all these disclosures, right? This condition of all these disclosures and other price sensitive information by the company is meant to keep shareholders in that company and other prospective investors well informed about the condition of the company that is listed. Let's look at the benefits that accrue to issuing company and its shareholders due to listing. Right? So when a company is listed, then its shares trade on the stock exchange. Therefore, shareholders are able to buy and sell shares of the listed company. Right? This leads to continuous valuation of shares in the market. Because every time a trade happens, a price is discovered, and that price can be used to understand the fair value of the shares of a company. Okay, hence a listed company would like to improve its business performance so that the results of the business are duly incorporated in the price of shares of that company in the stock exchange. Therefore, listing motivates companies to do better. Therefore, listing motivates companies to do better in terms of their overall performance. The second thing that happens due to listing is that the value of a listed company gets unlocked. That means until a company is not listed, its shares cannot have market value quotes. The market value is often considered a fair value of the shares. Therefore, when a company is listed, people can compare its market price with other valuations like book value or discounted fair value and then see how market or people there in the market value the company's shares. Right? The third advantage of listing is that it creates wealth effect. And what's that wealth effect? Let's try to understand. The wealth effect happens when price of shares in the market goes up. Then shareholders get a feel of becoming more wealthier because their individual wealth increases in terms of number of shares they hold multiplied by the price per share. Right? How there can be a reversal of this effect as well, particularly when prices fall. Okay, that's what should be kept in mind and it should be taken as a caution. Finally, due to listing, shareholders get access to the company's information easily because a company that's listed is required by law to disclose its financial and other information to the public through the stock exchange where its shares are listed. So that was what different benefits arise when a company enters a stock exchange and gets its shares listed there. Now let's look at delisting. Now we talk about delisting of shares. Delisting is opposite to listing, right? That is removal of shares from the list of shares that are traded on the stock exchange. Delisting has two forms, or in other words, shares of a company can be removed from the trading facility of the stock exchange under two conditions. And these two conditions are voluntary delisting and compulsory delisting. Before we take up the reasons for delisting, whether voluntary or compulsory, let's first of all see when a company cannot ask for delisting and also when a stock exchange cannot do delisting. Right? An already listed company cannot ask for delisting of its shares when it's intending to go for buyback of its shares from the investors. Right? Similarly, a listed company that wants to make preferential allotment can also not go for delisting. Likewise, a listed company cannot apply for unlisting unless a period of 3 years has elapsed since the listing of that class of equity shares on any recognized stock exchange. Right? Finally, delisting cannot be sought when any instrument issued by the company which are convertible into same class of equity that are sought to be delisted or outstanding. Now let's see under what circumstances can a listed company go for voluntary delisting. Right? The listed company can voluntarily delist its shares from a stock exchange provided that its shares would remain listed on any other recognized stock exchange which has national wide trading terminals. That means if a company is listed on two national stock exchanges, then such company will have option to exit from its listing on one of the exchanges where it is listed, right? Under such conditions, no exit opportunity needs to be given to the public shareholders, right? However, if after listing the shares of the company are no more listed on any other stock exchange with a national reach, then the company is required to give exit opportunity to its shareholders. Now, what does that exit opportunity mean? Right? Exit opportunity means the company would buy back shares from the shareholders in that case before they are removed from the facility of listing on the stock exchange. So that is what voluntary delisting indicates. Then we have compulsory delisting, and let's see what's that, right? The compulsory delisting is the prerogative of the stock exchange where shares are usually listed. Now let's see how does compulsory delisting occur. The stock exchange may delist equity shares of a company for non-compliance of listing agreement after suspending trading for a minimum period of 6 months. But before delisting is finally done, the company should be given a due opportunity for hearing prior to delisting of its shares from the stock exchange. Now, what does non-compliance of listing agreement constitute? The non-compliance of listing agreement would arise when a company does not pay stock exchange the fee due to it, or else it may also occur when a listed company fails to make the required market disclosures. Right? That's what we had for today's session on listing of shares on the stock exchange. With this, we conclude our today's discussion.